Get out towards the left-hand side, but Sofal is able to anticipate that. West Ham look to break forward. Antonio, there's a deflection out of play, and it is a throw-in to West Ham, almost halfway inside the Villa half. Watching it here in shirt-sleeve conditions with me is Steve Sidwell, Premier League midfielder, and we're watching Bowen attack, and the ball played into the penalty area, and a shot on the fall actually by Souček inside the box from probably 13-14 yards. Given the angle, he just slipped, Steve, and that meant that he shot wide, well wide of the near post.
Well, what a start to this game it's been. You can feel the electricity, the anticipation before the build-up. It's that excitement to this opening game of the weekend, the opening weekend. I loved it so much as a player. You just work all pre-season for it, and then when it comes, you just can't wait for the whistle to start. It certainly seems like that in the opening couple of minutes from this game. Good chance there, though, from West Ham, wasn't it? Direct play there from Jarrod Bowen. Souček, as he does, gets in the box as always with that powerful engine that he's got, but real end-to-end in the opening minutes.
So Steve Sidwell sitting next to me high up here in the London Stadium, which looks absolutely packed. Looks more like a cricket crowd, I must say, albeit a cricket crowd dressed in claret and blue mainly, but big crowd, over 60,000, and Julen Lopetegui down there succeeding David Moyes after 4.5 years of David Moyes. And they want more. They want more than David Moyes was able to bring, even though there were some great memories. Digne crossing for Aston Villa into the West Ham box, which is headed down and away, but actually just steered by Souček behind for a corner, which is rather a cheap corner for Villa.
It was, had more time than we thought there. Souček in his own box. I think we're going to see a lot of that in this opening games. A few mistakes, a bit of rustiness still, so that's the first one that we've really seen.
So this is 5 Live, 5:30. Once again, you'll be able to hear every Saturday afternoon, Saturday tea time, the 5:30 Premier League kickoff is either here on 5 Live for the most part or on Sports Extra. Corner for Villa, played into the near post and headed down and in! And Villa have a goal in the 4th minute! Great start for Unai Emery, that is just what they wanted! And it is Onana on his debut. Amadou Onana virtually on the goal line. He arrived perfectly and headed it in. Goodness me, he couldn't miss from there. And it is West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1. What a start to the new season for Villa, and what a start to his Villa career for Amadou Onana.
Well, we said that this game started so lively, and it was a great ball in from Tielemans, who just puts it on a plate. It's about 4 yards out that he lands it. And Onana, we know the presence that he's got. Mikel Antonio's marking him. He gets in front of him, and Antonio can't get back at him. And at that pace and at that far out, 2-3 yards out, there's only one place that is going to go, and that is in the back of the net. It's a great start for Onana that you want on your debut, especially away from home. What a start for Aston Villa.
That's a dream to get a chance like that for Onana. He got away. It was Mikel Antonio, wasn't it, who was the West Ham player who was supposed to be looking after him, but he just wriggled away from him. And at the near post, as you say, from Tielemans' delivery from the corner, it was nothing simple in football, Steve, as you well know, but it doesn't get much closer to simple than that in these circumstances. So dream start for Aston Villa to the new Premier League season, and I suppose you would have to say it's a nightmare start for Julen Lopetegui to see his team go a goal down inside 4 minutes in his first Premier League match in charge.
It's a sloppy start in general, really, with Souček giving away the cheap corner, as you said, John, and then first corner. As a player, for me, when I was playing, I made sure that everyone was on it. You know, you're saying to them, right, who are you picking up? And don't let your man score. My man does not score. And Onana there just had a slight head on Antonio, and Antonio couldn't get back with him. But the size and the presence of Onana, you're thinking, okay, he's the danger man, he's the one to watch. And it was the easiest of goals for him. All he had to do was just get any kind of connection from them, from a couple of yards out, and it's in the back of the net.
Well, that sets the match up. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1. And yes, that corner, Souček, it was just a little sloppy, wasn't it? He was, maybe 4 or 5 yards inside his own area, facing the dead ball line, and just kind of passed it behind and back for a corner that Villa have taken full advantage of. So Unai Emery looks full of energy, as he always tends to, that jet black hair, swept back. He's got a sort of zip-up cardigan style top on, navy blue trousers, as Villa try to play it forward through Bailey, but that's intercepted. And West Ham now trying to come from behind. That's a foul centre field, Bailey, but the referee Harrington allows play to continue, gives them the advantage. West Ham, in comes the ball to the near post, and that's a comfortable take from Martinez, who's able to scoop it up on the bounce.
As sloppy as the start was for Aston Villa, it's a good. For West Ham, it's a great reaction, and you can see there Max Kilman winning the ball, playing the ball forward, and continuing his run. And when the cross eventually come in, they probably had 5 or 6 players in the box. 5
Live and BBC Sounds. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1. And the West Ham team, the side selected by Julian Lopetegui today, Areola is in goal as Villa are on the attack. Cash gives it out to the right-hand side. Bailey with a cross, that's blocked inside the penalty area. West Ham look to bring it away, which they do, although there's a little trip there on Kudus, and you can hear the reaction from the West Ham supporters. Kudus was breaking away, and indeed Tony Harrington does bring out the yellow card for Leon Bailey, who just clipped the heels of Kudus. Even though you're still well inside his own half, Tony Harrington's read that as a yellow card.
Well, Tony Harrington there has set the stall out. I mean, it was a foul. We could see a lot of that going on. But what a high and wide start this is for the fullbacks, for the wingers. As soon as they get the ball, there's one thought: can I drive at the opposition?
So West Ham with Areola in goal. The back four: Tsofal, Mavropanos, Maximilian Kilman and Emerson. Then in midfield, Guido Rodriguez. He's one of the new names, the Argentine, the number 24, who was in the Copa America winning squad. Here is Kudus down the left-hand side again, and referee Harrington's given the free kick. He actually went to ground. I think he looked to play the advantage there, but he did bring it back. And even though Kudus was looking to cross, he actually passed it straight into the referee, but he'd already blown his whistle. Free kick, West Ham.
Kudus done absolutely superb, shoulder to shoulder, actually won the ball, tried to get up and play. I think Tony Harrington actually blew the whistle. Kudus didn't hear it, and then he tried to play a quick free kick. Tony Harrington got in the way, but a dangerous position now for a free kick for West Ham.
Yeah, free kick to West Ham, right away over on the left-hand side, just about in the sunshine. This lovely, warm Saturday evening, August sunshine. Lots of movement in the box. Free kick comes in towards the penalty spot, just took a flick off the Villa head, which took it out here to the right-hand side. Bowen gets the ball under control. Left-footed ball into the box. That was good, but it was actually headed away by the goal scorer, Nana, and then a foul on the edge of the penalty area is conceded, and it's a free kick that McGinn wants to take quickly. The referee's just actually having a word there. Villa were looking to break away there, and the referee's decided that was just a free kick, not a yellow card.
Both teams trying to spot the ball, play quickly, stamp their authority, that possession-based football that both teams want to do. How much of it are we going to see this season? That's going to be the question, especially at home for West Ham.
Yeah, West Ham with the claret shirts, blue sleeves, white shorts, white socks. To continue that line-up, Rodriguez and Souček in midfield, Bowen on the right, Kudus on the left, Paqueta, the number 10, and then Mikel Antonio up front. So Niklas Füllkrug is only a substitute as Souček battles for the ball against Tielemans, wins it, but the ball in field is cut out by Konza, and now the ball being carried towards the edge of the penalty area in a left-foot shot, and that's a decent save down to his right by Areola after the ball was carried goalwards by Morgan Rogers. Excellent run from him. Here he is again, Rogers on the left-hand side with the cross to the near post, but that is caught by goalkeeper Areola. But it opened up there for Morgan Rogers.
Far too easy that for Morgan Rogers there. He picks the ball up on the halfway line, just on the other side of Rodriguez, and he drifts literally through the whole centre of the pitch, dissects West Ham, and he puts it on his left foot. He tries to sort of whip it and place it in the far corner along the floor, but Areola gets down and parries it wide, but it's far too easy. West Ham looked far too expansive.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting choice, that Morgan Rogers should be selected. There are lots of options now for Unai Emery. So the Villa team that he's chosen: Martinez in goal, Cash, Konza, Torres and Digne, and then Onana with Tielemans and Captain McGinn, and then Leon Bailey on the right, Morgan Rogers on the left, and Ollie Watkins through the middle. So Philogene is on the bench. Young Samuel Illing Jr. isn't involved today. John Duran is one among the substitutes. Good to see Emi Buendia back as well after missing all of last season through injury. But Morgan Rogers, I think, did enough, didn't he, in the latter stages of last season in the main?
Yeah, I think in them latter stages as well, they looked pretty tired, Aston Villa, on that run for the quest for the top four and the European run. But he was one of the standout players. I think he had the freshness that come in and that just give a little bit of a pick-up for the squad and the side.
Yeah, Morgan Rogers, the signing in the winter window last season from Middlesbrough, and yes, they did. Aston Villa end last season by winning only one of their last 8 matches in all competitions, but got that place, that top 4 place, by a couple of points from Tottenham. They're all dropping points at the end of last season. But similarly, West Ham sort of faded away at the end of last season under David Moyes as well. They won just one of their last 8 in League and Cup also. 1-0 to Aston Villa. Amadou Onana with the early goal, the early header from the Tielemans corner. And it is West Ham who carry the ball forward from the back. Lovely change of feet from Pau Torres, and the central defender's over the halfway line and now gives it out to Digne on the left-hand side. Pau Torres continues his run. That's one of his trademarks, Pau Torres, and he's still on the edge of the area. Left-footed cross, that's blocked away on the edge of the penalty area by West Ham. Villa again, Digne, John McGinn, and then back to Yuri Tielemans closer to the halfway line. Excellent from Torres.
Real good control this from Aston Villa. They know they've got their noses in front now with a well-deserved goal taken from the corner, and now they can just dictate the play. Tielemans is getting on the ball, bouncing off 1 touch, 2 touch when he's being pressed down. When he's got time and space, he's just dictating it, moving this West Ham team from side to side, trying to tire him down as soon as possible. Yep, so it's been a lively start. Villa leading 1-0. Villa on the attack, but that is intercepted by Kilman, West Ham's new number 26, the former Wolverhampton Wanderers man. As Villa win it back in centre field, Tielemans through the middle to Rogers. Now Watkins through the middle, but a touch from him gave Mavropanos the chance to clear, which he did, out for a throw-in down the right-hand side that Cash comes up to take. Very confident start from Aston Villa, of course, helped by the goal that they scored. Mentioned their end of the season. In actual fact, I remember the very first day of last season, it was this time on the first Saturday of the last Premier League season that Villa lost 5-1 at Newcastle, yet still finished in the top 4. Cash with the throw-in to McGinn inside the area near the dead ball line. Now back to Bailey. Bailey to Tielemans. Right foot shot. That's blocked. Comes out to Digne. Digne, 25 yards from goal. His attempted ball into the area is charged down and is just kept in, actually, by Sofal, who, in clearing the ball, did put it out for a throw to Villa. Yeah, they started the season with a 5-1 defeat and ended it, Villa, with a 5-0 defeat against Crystal Palace. But in between times... in between was great. What a great season they had. I mean, Unai Emery, what he's done was absolutely superb.
Digne with a throw for Villa, which is a stretching header away for West Ham by Mavropanos. It's helped forward again by Ezri Konsa. He's one of the England men in the squad that reached the final. Ezri Konsa, as Villa again have the ball on the right-hand side with Bailey, who is strongly challenged by Emerson. Free kick is taken quickly out to the right-hand side. It's just taken on into the penalty area by Watkins, but goalkeeper Ariola came out well, did well. He was at an angle, a very tight angle on the right-hand side, the same sort of angle that he scored against the Dutch in the Euro semi-final, Ollie Watkins. But Ariola was out like a flash to make the block at his feet, and now it is West Ham who attack down the other end, but Villa deal with that and have got the ball in front of their own penalty area. So even though this is the tea-time kick-off, we have other live action with Rangers and St Johnstone underway very shortly. In fact, probably just kicked off now at Hampden. So Gavin Wallace will keep us across that. And the Super League Magic weekend continues at Elland Road in Leeds, and Matt Newsom is there.
Yeah, Wigan leading at half-time at St Helens by 14 points to 0 in this derby. It's been a one-way traffic in terms of the points. Adam Kieran floating a lovely ball for Liam Marshall to touch down. Jack Farrimon clipping a little kick through and dotting it down himself. And then stepping up Adam Kieran to kick a goal, with Saints finishing the half pointless. They've got to improve in the second half if they get just anything out of this derby. It's Wigan 14, Saints 0.
Still West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1 here at the London Stadium in the sunshine, in this cricket weather. Cricket commentary on Sports Extra, the 100 Eliminator. And they are underway with you at Hampden, Gavin.
They are indeed, John. Yes, good afternoon. Welcome to the National Stadium. 0-0, minute gone. The team news is that Rangers making 5 changes. Dowell, Sterling, Czerny, Matondo and Danilo all starting for the 28th time winners. They've won just one of their 4 outings this season in all competitions. St Johnstone with 1 change as Carey's in, Esso suspended, and the last time they won it, John, was in 2021, so fingers crossed we have a game in our hands.
Thank you, Gavin. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1. What about that chance for Ollie Watkins?
Before I go back to that chance, it was... oh, sorry, there's a chance.
West Ham with the ball on the edge of the penalty area. Antonio with the shot. Socek initially on the edge of the box, couldn't get the shot in. It was blocked out by Antonio, whose effort was blocked.
Really interesting, that Ollie Watkins one there, because it was, as you said, it was a similar situation to the one that he buried for England.
Here's another one over the top for West Ham, but Martinez can come out.
His touch was too big, John, wasn't it? But initially he was looking for someone inside the box. Now that I know he's had a bit of a rest on pre-season. He hasn't played any pre-season minutes, but is that just that little bit of rustiness there that I certainly felt like as a player that I wanted to go into the season fresh, knowing that I could have done everything that I've could have done, be prepared for the first game. I know he needs a rest, but that there just showed an element where that indecisiveness, especially for a striker, you can't have that. You need to rely on your instincts.
However, there's I think I understand Unai Emery with everything that they've got on their plate this season. Aston Villa, it feels like Watkins is absolutely vital to that. So he's clear he doesn't want to take any risks.
Well, 100%. I mean, how he performed last season and in the Euros when he come on made an impact. I think it'd be interesting to see how he'll perform this year. He's had a little taste of that international experience, seeing what it's like. He knows what he can deal with it now. Can he repeat the consistency what he done last season?
Yeah, I actually interviewed him in the stadium in Berlin in almost the immediate aftermath of the defeat, and clearly, obviously, the disappointment was there as Villa continue to attack, but the ball played forward and Cash won't reach that, and it's through for a goal kick. And he was talking about what an experience it had been. His first major tournament, involved in one of the biggest moments to score the goal like he did. And clearly the hunger was there. I want more of this kind of thing. And obviously, you'll know, there was the clamour, wasn't there, for him to play instead of Harry Kane. But anyway, we've turned the page, I think, from all of that, have we?
Yeah. Well, I think so, yeah. And someone on the opposite side, Jared Bowen, he'll be someone that's going to be looking to add to that.
And here he is, Jared Bowen, on cue, down the right-hand side, up against Digne. Bowen is able to check back, then give it back to Guido Rodriguez. Bowen again, here is Paqueta, just lifts the ball, sort of scoops it over the top of the defender, but Bowen can't take it on. And now Onana, lovely change of pace from him, and that went down very easily. I don't know whether Jared Bowen maybe just stepped on the inside of his boot, but he went down sort of sprawling. He's got the free kick anyway.
I've been there as a player when you know you're going down a dead end and you're just hoping there's an easy way out. You're hoping that somebody just leaves a flaying foot out so you can just make contact, probably go over a bit easier than what you would do normally, but you get your breather, you get your team a free kick, you can reposition and go again.
5 Live, BBC Sounds, the 5:30 kick-off in the Premier League. 1-0 Aston Villa lead, the Onana header in the 4th minute. And here he is, Onana now is all over the back of Kudus. Concedes a free kick, and West Ham have got it back inside their own half. If you're just getting back into your cars, if you've been at a match this afternoon, whatever level, I know it's a big FA Cup day today as well, as Villa win the ball back. Tielemans through the middle to Morgan Rogers with the dyed curly hair. Rogers now to the left-hand side. McGinn lifts it up to the back post. That's headed away on the edge of the area. Only out to Rogers. Rogers square to Bailey. Teed it up. The shot is blocked inside the box. Headed away, a back header away by Paqueta. And then a foul on Jared Bowen and a free kick to West Ham on the edge of the box. They're continuing, Villa, to cause problems, whether it's on the left or the right.
It's far too easy. It's on both sides. You're right, John. It's down the left and the right-hand side. They're just getting out that West Ham back line just far too easy. Just a bit more quality on that final delivery, that final pass, and West Ham could be in real big trouble.
If you haven't heard, if you weren't listening earlier, the commentary, Ian Dennis's excellent commentary with Paul Robinson from Arsenal, who got off to just the sort of start that you want. A 2-0 win, home game, first match of the season against Wolves. Havertz and Saka, the goal scorers. We'll hear from Mikel Arteta at half-time in this match. Ipswich started out at lunchtime back in the Premier League after 22 years away from the top flight, lost 2-0 at home to Liverpool. Also promoted Southampton, lost 1-0 at Newcastle. Everton 0, Brighton 3 was one of the eye-catching Premier League scorelines. We'll hear from Sean Dyche at half-time, as well as the Southampton manager Russell Martin. What a start for Fabian Hürzeler, the 31-year-old manager of Brighton, one of your old clubs. Steve, what a start for him.
Incredible start. I'm due to be down there in a couple of weeks watching them train.
Here's a long ball forward. Bailey's done well, takes it on, round the goalkeeper and shoots against the post from a tight angle. Defender got back in there, threw himself in front of the shot from Bailey, who holds his head. Areola came out. It was rash from the goalkeeper. Bailey went round him beautifully, but the angle was too tight and he shot against the post. Could so easily be 2-0 Villa.
It's really well worked, because every time Bailey's got the ball, and he has looked so bright and lively in the opening part of this game, he's got it to feet and he's drove at the West Ham defence. This time it's a fantastic ball from Matty Cash to go over the top and go long. He takes it beautifully, Bailey, to go round Areola, and then it's at a really acute angle. He has to beat I think it's Max Kilman that throws himself on the floor, but he hits that near post. He tries to whip it across the goal, but it hits the near post and out. Really bright, lively play from Bailey.
Yeah, I saw quite a lot of him last season, and I think almost every time I saw him, he provided moments of real excitement. The Jamaican international, who will be playing for Steve McLaren, won't he now, this season, after Steve McLaren took the Jamaica job. So good luck to Steve. As West Ham, a little fortunate, still just to be 1-0 down. West Ham through the middle. The ball is played over the top by Rodriguez, but headed away for Villa on the edge of the penalty area. And now here is Onana. Villa in the white shirts, the blue shorts, the light blue shorts and blue socks. And Villa in possession inside their own half. They've had chances. Bailey's hit the post. Watkins was in. Rodgers was in as well. Areola saved well from him. This could be Villa could easily be in a very strong position in this match.
They could be, and like we said there, they're just taking their time on the ball, dictating a play, moving it from one side to the other. They look very set in their ways, whether they're drawing players in to then go down the line to Ollie Watkins to get their players up the pitch. But just talk about Onana there, it's a real shrewd sign that for me, knowing that they was going to lose Douglas Luiz and Diaby. They had to replace them two players with real quality, and I was so impressed with him last season at Everton and what he done. He possesses a real authority around him. He can really grab the game by the scruff of the neck and dominate it. He can chip in with goals, as we've seen already. So really shrewd buy there.
Steve Sidwell with us on 5 Live as the ball is played back by Ezri Konsa to his goalkeeper Martinez. Yes, Moussa Diaby is one of the latest players to go to Saudi Arabia, so that was round about £50 million. Douglas Luiz was best part of £50 million, so that helps to balance the books. And Onana, with Everton's scoreline today, he's an important player in the centre for Everton. So as I say, we'll hear from Sean Dyche as Villa win a free kick off inside their own half. Mikel Antonio puts his hands on his hips. He doesn't like that. It's a challenge on Onana, but a free kick for Villa. The other scoreline in the Premier League, if you haven't heard it, Nottingham Forest 1, Bournemouth 1. So watch all of the highlights tonight on Match of the Day, back for its 60th anniversary season. BBC One this evening. Joe Hart's on tonight, actually. I think that might be his debut on a Saturday night Match of the Day with Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer, or any time on the iPlayer. You can read all about it on the football pages of the website. And for the first time in the Premier League this season, we have 606 back on the air tonight with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. So I'll let you know in the second half when the lines are open. We'll hear from one of them, I would imagine, at half-time. Hashtag BBC 606 to book your call. Text 85058. Villa again moving the ball around very nicely as they play from right to left here at the home of West Ham. West Ham United London, as the huge crest with the crossed hammers says on the side of the pitch, in between Unai Emery and Julen Lopetegui, two Spanish coaches, and it is Emery's side who has been the superior team as Tielemans overhits a pass through and it runs through for a goal kick, and Unai Emery turns head down heads back towards in fact, he walks to one corner of the technical area, then turns and walks to the other corner. 2 Spanish coaches, 5 Spanish coaches now in the Premier League, Steve. These two both were at Seville, both won the Europa League there. Spain, the European champions. They're all the rage, although they have been for some time, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and that's the style of play, isn't it? That possession-based football now that's really entering the Premier League. It's been there for a number of years, but we're trying to attract younger managers, younger head coaches that's going to come in and adapt that. But you look at these two down in front of us now, the pedigree that they've got, especially someone of Lopetegui, the teams that he's been at, Sevilla, obviously Europa League winners 2020, Porto, Madrid, the Spanish youth set up all the way to the senior level as well. So a great level of insight and as I said, pedigree to go with it.
Yes, he doesn't mind ruffling a few feathers, as you'll probably know and be aware of. I remember, I don't think I'll ever forget being with Spain on the eve of their match at the World Cup against Portugal in 2018 down in Sochi, when he was dramatically sacked on the eve of the tournament. It was all going off, and off he went to Real Madrid, and only lasted a few months after all of that. But here he is watching his team 1-0 down, and it is Villa on the attack again. Tielemans out to the left-hand side to Digne. Digne thought about swinging one in with his left foot, but McGinn came short, and actually it goes back towards Pau Torres on the halfway line. He's got Onana just forward of the centre circle. West Ham have got everyone back behind the ball, and back it goes out to the right-hand side, where Cash finds Bailey. Bailey on the right, up against the Italian international Emerson. Bailey into the edge of the penalty area, stabbed back by Rodgers. Onana, Tielemans. This is very good from Villa, possession-based football, and good possession-based football. Pau Torres with the outside of his boot very nearly found the pass through. Tofal was able to cut that out, and then Torres can't keep it in, so it's a throw into West Ham in their own right-back area.
Yeah, they're just starting to get real control. Tielemans and Onana in the middle of the pitch, very unopposed, aren't they, West Ham? They can't get near them, and they're just making it so easy for Tielemans. When you can, as a midfield player, when you can get your head up and dictate the game, pick a pass, whether that's going to be a short pass or a long diagonal pass, it's very easy for them at the moment.
Here's Kudus on the left-hand side. Kudus, as West Ham come forward, he's got Emerson on the overlap. Kudus with a left-footed cross to the back post, but defender did well in there. Digne, with 2 West Ham players, Souček and Antonio either side of him, did exceptionally well, the left-back, to get his head to it and nod it behind for a corner.
Great defender there from Digne. As you said, there's Souček, the height that he's got and the size over him, but he managed to stand his ground, be strong, hit it away for a corner. They've got real height, West Ham, on these attacking set places. Mavropanos.
This very airy, wide open stadium. You'll know if you've been here, the former Olympic Stadium. West Ham supporters down in front of us just get to their feet as Bowen takes it into the 6-yard box, but Martinez comes and makes a comfortable catch and drops down. Real summery feel this afternoon, isn't it? What lovely weather. Temperature's great for a Saturday tea time. Blue sky. You can see the top of the Ascelor over there, the big sculpture with the red metal work. Those massive screens at either end of the ground.
I don't remember an opening weekend that's really been raining or not very great weather.
I know, it's people always say cup final day. You should book your wedding for cup final day. I always think you should book your wedding for the first day of the season. Sun always seems to shine. Throw in for Villa down the left-hand side. As Digne just steals a few yards. Steals quite a few yards, actually. He's walked up level with the edge of the penalty area. We'll have more on all of those matches earlier today at half-time, and round up all of the scores. I think Burnley's 5-0 win against Cardiff caught the eye in the Championship. Great start for Scott Parker as Paqueta fouls Tielemans, and that's a free kick. Tielemans just gone down feeling his ankle, possibly. Free kick for Villa in a good position.
Well, we said Tielemans and Onana were pulling strings in the last 5-10 minutes. Paqueta there, just a little bit of aggression, a little bit of frustration, I think, just creeping into these West Ham players. They need to be careful because they are bright. They have obviously got a lot in their arsenal with set pieces.
Yeah, it's looking like early days for West Ham under Lopetegui. Villa look very comfortable. Digne plays this free kick in, left-footed to the back post. Rodgers tries to head it across. Defender got a block on that, and it is controlled and cleared away up towards Mikel Antonio. Antonio chosen to start. New arrival Niklas Füllkrug is only on the bench. Antonio does exceptionally well, almost finds the pass forward to Kudus. It bounces away in any case. Paqueta back to Kudus, left side of the area. Villa have got defenders back in numbers actually now. Kudus with a cross, it's deflected and it deflects out to Rodgers, and actually Villa could be away on the counter-attack here, and Rodgers takes it on. He doesn't mind carrying the ball, and he takes it on. And even though Sofal came across, it's still Villa in possession. Bailey drives it across, might land at the feet of McGinn, bounces back to him, McGinn rolls it wide of the foot of the post from 14 yards. Again, Villa so close to 2-0.
Well, it's another chance for Aston Villa that goes begging, and Rodgers gets the ball and drives with the ball. He attracts so many players towards him on that right half of the side of the pitch. It falls to Bailey, picks out McGinn on this left-hand side, and you just know if he's on his left foot, that he's more cultured left foot, he's going to be burying that one. He gets a second bite of the cherry. He still goes to just side foot, you know, the sort of slaughter in that far corner, and just kisses the outside of the post.
Yeah, interesting so far. Over half an hour played, 5 live from the BBC. West Ham 0, Aston Villa 1, and Villa look, well, exactly what they are really. This is West Ham, a team playing their first match under their new manager, whereas Unai Emery has been in position now since the November of 2022. This is his second full season. He, even though Villa have made all of these signings, he hasn't changed too much here for the start of the season. Just a Nana coming in, and they look very settled. They look as though they know their jobs, whereas West Ham are searching a bit, aren't they?
Yeah, they look really, really efficient. As you said, it's the opening weekend. It's a West Ham team that are getting grips to each other individually and little pockets, little teams, but Aston Villa just looks so dedicated and know exactly what they're doing in and out of possession as well.
Paqueta is challenged and beaten by Onana. It was a heavy touch from Paqueta. So Villa on the break again. McGinn with his left foot couldn't find the pass forward to Watkins. Kilman stepped forward. Kudus won't get there. Cash does. Cash slides in. Excellently timed challenge, even though the West Ham supporters were thinking it might be a free kick. Cash got that one just right.
Yeah, that's a good little battle that side, over that far side of the pitch for us. Matty Cash and Kudus, because we both know that Matty Cash loves to get forward, loves to overlap, get crosses in, but at the moment he's being pegged back a little bit by Kudus and managing it really well and just picking and choosing and timing the runs to go and help Bailey in attack. Yeah,
really had his moments, didn't he, at times? Kudus last season with the 13 goals that he scored for West Ham after his move from Ajax. 1-0 Villa lead, and it is Paqueta who has got those charges that he faces this season, so at some point that will resolve itself. He strongly denies the charges of breaching the betting rules. But Lucas Paqueta, such an important player for West Ham. He's made a quiet start to the game, I must say. West Ham with it on the left-hand side, comes back to the number 10, Paqueta. The Brazilian right-footed ball towards the edge of the area. It's chested down inside the Villa box. In comes the challenge from Cash, and it is a penalty. Cash put the challenge in on Souček, who went sprawling down. Referee Harrington was probably 10 yards away, immediately pointed to the spot. Penalty to West Ham and a lifeline.
I mean, we're a couple of 100 yards away from the incident, John, aren't we? It was a looping ball from Paqueta. It looked like a penalty from where I was sitting, and again, we are quite far away. We are looking at the replays on the screen. I think he does get the ball just first. As soon as the referee gave the decision, Matty Cash sprinted to the ref, held his hands out, and you see it was a genuine attempt to say, I've got the ball first. I've got the ball first. I think this is going to go to a review. Well, it will. They'll be looking at this. Check is in progress, but after everything that we've been told this week, Steve, about how VAR is going to work, and they're going to, unless it's absolutely clear and obvious, they are determined to stick with the referee's call wherever possible. And I am expecting, after everything I've heard this week, I'm expecting this to stick as a penalty. Would you disagree with that? It's so close. I think he just gets the ball. Matty Cash It's a looping ball from Paquetá. He gets caught under the ball, and Souček takes it down his chest just past Matty Cash. I think he just gets the ball first and then the player.
And it is a penalty. Penalty is confirmed. Villa can't believe it. You know, they know what you know. See, I say Ezri Konsa put his hands to his head. They're saying that he got a touch of the ball, but whether it's felt that despite that it was still a foul on Souček. So it is Paquetá, Lucas Paquetá. Villa could be almost out of sight in this match, but in the last 10 minutes of the first half, Lucas Paquetá from 12 yards has a chance to make it 1-1, and this will be quite an escape for West Ham. Chance to score West Ham's first Premier League goal under Julen Lopetegui. Paquetá, little delay, and then flicks it away beyond Martinez. One of the best penalty savers, Emiliano Martinez, but the Brazilian outwitted the Argentine goalkeeper, and it is West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1, and West Ham can celebrate their first goal under their new manager.
Well, the calmness shown there from Paquetá is absolutely first class. But there was a huge pressure on that penalty to get his team back into this game, because they've been poor up until this moment. A few glimpses of brilliance, but the calmness there. He runs up, he just pauses, and he waits for Emi Martinez to make one slight move, and he just slots it across to the other side. What a penalty there from Paquetá.
Yeah, that was, as I said, just in the build-up to the goal, and it was Paquetá's ball in, wasn't it, that resulted in the penalty. He's not had the best of starts. He was involved with Brazil at the Copa America, you know, so perhaps there's a bit of rustiness there for him as well. He's not seen much football pre-season, but knowing, and you know, there's a lot involved in it. When I would imagine when you're up against a goalkeeper like Martinez, who has the reputation that he has, and to keep his cool like that and to score it so well is all credit to him.
Coolness personified there. He said it was huge pressure on that penalty. He's played on the periphery, as you said, in this game so far. He's probably tried too hard, in fact, trying to create passes that aren't really on.
West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1, as West Ham attack, but it's intercepted by Pau Torres, and now Bailey goes for an early ball forward, but that'll just bounce all the way through to goalkeeper Areola at the other end. So 6 or 7 minutes to half-time. We'll round everything that's happened in the sporting world during the course of this first Premier League Saturday of the new season. In the League Cup at Hampden, it is still Rangers 0, St Johnstone 0. The 100 is on Sports Extra, and you can also follow Magic Weekend, the Super League Magic Weekend, which we will be updating for you. But West Ham, long ball up towards Antonio on the edge of the area, who goes down under the challenge, but I think very optimistic to think that would also be given as a penalty. It's certainly a debating point whether VAR should have overturned that. That's what they'll be discussing on Match of the Day tonight. That's what we're discussing now.
Well, you see the reaction from Matty Cash, and it's easy for a defender to say that he...
Paquetá, left-footed ball over the top. Cash heads it away, headed further away by Bailey, comes out to West Ham. They're having their best spell now, West Ham, having scored the goal. Here he is again, Paquetá, 30 yards out. Ball forward is blocked out towards the halfway line, where Rodriguez slid in on Watkins, who is back on his feet. I just thought for a moment there that he might have taken a knock. The England man, Aston Villa's Player of the Year last season, their top scorer. Here's Sofal now on the right-hand side. Suddenly, West Ham beginning to motor. The Czech playing it infield. Wan-Bissaka's on the bench, by the way, the new signing from Manchester United. So Wan-Bissaka, Crescencio Somerville, formerly of Leeds, Nicholas Fulkrug, all among the West Ham substitutes. Here is Paquetá again. Oh, lovely ball through to the edge of the penalty area. Emerson's come all the way across, shoots right-footed, and it is saved by Martinez, who got his hand down. I think it was going wide, but he made sure Martinez. Corner West Ham.
Yeah, well, the tides have turned now, haven't they? And this is what the West Ham fans have been waiting to see. It took, 40 minutes on the clock for West Ham to control possession, to dominate possession. They've certainly done that in this times as they've got back in the game. Really good link-up play there from Emerson, and following his pass for his run. As you said, I think it was going out for a goal kick, but Martinez there made sure.
Into the last 5 minutes of the first half. Bowen's left-footed corner of the near post is flicked right across goal, headed to the back post by Kudus. One or two shouts, I think, for handball in there as well against Rodgers. Kudus has still got the ball down. He's in the full-back position. The cross comes over, takes a deflection into the path of Cash, who's able to clear it away. Did you think you saw a hand in there?
I mean, they was very, very close, wasn't they? From
Rodgers?
From Kudus on Rodgers, yeah. I think that's probably why it's not given, but it looked like again that it did strike an arm.
There's Tielemans now for Villa, through to Watkins. Watkins has got a defender with him. Other West Ham players getting back. Watkins still with the ball that he tries to square, and it comes off a West Ham player, Mavropanos, and bounces back rather kindly for West Ham to goalkeeper Areola. It's been eventful, Steve.
It has. It's starting. It's finishing the way that it started, wasn't it? End to end. They're through some calm patches. The game's always going to ebb and flow, but I think this is what West Ham fans want to see. This West Ham team really dominate possession, really use that ball and move this move this Aston Villa side. We know what Lopetegui does that with his formations, the way he sets out the midfield three, trying to play short, sharp, close passes, dominate possession in there. The fullbacks high and wide. We've seen a few glimpses, but just not enough this first half.
Yeah. Julian Lopetegui, his first 45 minutes as the manager of West Ham, or the head coach to be precise. His second Premier League management job after the months that he had at Wolves, if you remember, when he took over during the World Cup. They were bottom of the table at the time, and Wolves ended up finishing up safe, very safe in 13th, but then things weren't to his liking, and he left just before the start of the season, and Gary O'Neill took over, and the rest for Gary O'Neill is history. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1, but Villa really could have been in absolute control with the chances that they had, and then that decision, that penalty decision given by referee Harrington, backed up by the video assistant referee, who is John Brooks at Stockley Park. They decided not to overturn the decision. It's certainly debatable. You'll be able to see it on Match of the Day tonight. But as I said to you, Steve, I just had the feeling after all of the discussions this week that unless they absolutely have to, they're not going to overturn decisions. At least that's the impression that I got. Here's Digne down the left-hand side. Digne then miscontrols it out for a throw into West Ham.
It was just a reaction that Matty Cash gave, that it was a genuine, you can see sometimes defenders knowing that they've given a penalty away and it's been a rash penalty and they're in the wrong, but I genuinely feel we've just seen another replay of it. It's so close. It's so close. I still think he just gets the ball.
I think he does. Yeah, I think he does. Just gets the ball, and then there's like a second motion from Cash in which he tangles with the legs of Souček, as foul crosses now from the right for West Ham, but that's headed away near the penalty spot, and it actually bounces out to Bailey, and Bailey's off and running again, as he loves to do. Wide open green acres of the London Stadium for him to take it to the edge of the box, and a left foot shot that I thought for a moment had taken a deflection, but obviously didn't, as it bounced wide of the far post, and it's a goal kick.
Ollie Watkins has got his hands up in the air there. He made a fantastic run through into the 18-yard box. Bailey there on the left-hand side had his head down. He was driving into the box. Didn't see the run of Ollie Watkins. It was a really well-timed run. It just needed slipped into him for a first-time shot across goal. Wasn't on the same wavelength there.
So you know, don't you, that the Premier League Match Centre are releasing social media posts now this season after incidents like that. They've done it for the incident that resulted in the penalty for West Ham, and the post reads, the referee awarded a penalty for a foul by Cash on Souček. The VAR checked and confirmed the referee's call. Doesn't illuminate the situation massively.
No, and I'm not sure about the Premier League getting on the social media and releasing messages.
Well, I guess that they feel that, everyone will have their phones, everyone will be able to see that, so therefore it's this line of communication that people want. They've been led to believe. We've got 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. 5 live from the BBC. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1. Plenty of talking points from this opening match here in East London. Free kick for Digne, 15 yards inside the West Ham half. Digne swings it into the penalty area. headed away by Kilman. Kudus trying to get it down, but Bailey's got there first. However, Souček steps in. Souček, who won the penalty, forward towards Antonio. Strong from Antonio, and he put too much of that strength into the pass forward, which Bowen has to chase, and actually Bowen goes to ground, keeps in, but Villa have got reinforcements there as well. Tielemans followed it all back, and now Digne up to the halfway line, where Watkins goes down rather easily from the challenge from Mavropanos, and West Ham have got it.
There was a great chance there for West Ham. Antonio, he's been poor this first half for me. Again, as someone who's played on the periphery, I know it's not his preferred role being up top, but he's not been that sort of leading figure as he normally is. I think we could see a change certainly at some point in the second half with the new signing Fulkrug coming on. Yep,
Nicholas Fulkrug. You know what you're going to get from him, don't you? As the ball bounces down and it's cleared away for Villa by Pau Torres, and it's caught by Julian Lopetegui, rather like a rugby union fullback calling from Mark. Throw-in is taken. Bailey plays it left-footed forward for Watkins, who got a touch on that, but again the touch was too heavy and it just sent it all the way through to Areola, rather backing up again what you said earlier about Watkins.
Yeah, again, it's a good run on the shoulder of the defender, and just a little bit of rustiness there from Ollie Watkins, but you do know as soon as he gets a chance, he's lively, he's bright, he can score a goal.
Still Rangers 0, St Johnstone 0 in the League Cup at Hampden. 1-1 here as Kudus on his right foot curls one in, but that's over everyone and through for a goal kick. I did notice that these two, West Ham and Aston Villa, in recent seasons have often played out draws between them. In the last 9 matches here between them, 5 of them have ended up as draws. But every game's different, every set of circumstances are different, and just so much, I think, to look forward to for these two clubs, the two sets of supporters. For West Ham to see how this team is going to play under Julian Lopetegui. For much of this first half, which has just ended, it wasn't terribly promising from that point of view, but as we said, very early days, went 1-0 down to the Onana header from the Tielemans corner in only the 4th minute, but they've fought their way back into it. Perhaps a little fortunate. Villa could easily have had a 2 or 3 goal lead, but then that penalty, that much talked about penalty, Paquetá putting it away beautifully past Martinez. So 1-1 at half-time, Steve Sidwell.
Villa could have been outside, couldn't they? They was probably definitely the most effective team in this first half. We see glimpses from West Ham, what they can produce in terms of being on possession and playing the ball around Aston Villa. You've got to say their best moments of the first half was floated balls into Souček that was in the box, not necessarily dissecting the Aston Villa team, but they found a way to get back into it, and they're level pegging going into the second half.
Yep, I'm like you. I think we might see Nicholas Fulkrug make his debut for West Ham in the second half. We might see Philogene as well, Jaden Philogene, which I think would be quite exciting to see him back in an Aston Villa shirt. But half-time here in the sunshine, West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1.
Steve, just on the whole Premier League match centre texts, it's early days, isn't it? But, for example, earlier in the day with the Everton one, there was a tweet which said the referee awarded a penalty for a foul on Calvert-Lewin. The review deemed that Calvert-Lewin's foot had landed on Dunk's foot and there was no foul. Great, totally explains it. With this one, well, we know a penalty was awarded and we know it was confirmed. What we needed to know was, did the referee not think he got the ball, or did he think there was a second foul? Yeah,
that's exactly it. We're going to have twists and turns with this all season, aren't we, again? But my initial reaction was that there was contact with the player. Again, looking at the replay, I think he just got the ball. Madikash just got the ball before getting the player. But it's going to be a first opening game of the opening weekend of the season. There's going to be still some errors and some tweets and some messages that needs to be cleared up, but it's in the right manner.
Yes, exactly. It's certainly a good idea, so we'll see. Thank you very much, you two, for now. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1. Half-time, we'll be back for second half commentary. Let's check in on the Scottish League Cup, shall we? Rangers St Johnstone at Ibrox. Gavin Wallace.
I'm going to try and bring some sort of flavour to this, Steve. 0-0 at the moment after 36 minutes. Rangers have had a couple of really good chances and blazed over the bar 2 and 3 times. There was one just a couple of minutes ago. Sterling was straight through on goal. It was a good save by Ray, who was up quickly to then then denied Danilo on the follow-up on that, and Andre Raymond has had a decent effort for St Johnstone, but albeit it went just over the bar and no more. From a Rangers point of view, very poor. From a St Johnstone, very good. Rangers 0, St Johnstone 0.
It's very kind of you not to correct me on the stadium that you're sitting in there, Gavin, as well.
That's okay. It's a stadium in Scotland and it's not a good game, so right. It's all right, but we're at Hampden, yes.
It's at Hampden, yeah. Thanks very much. Gavin looking around, working if he's in the right place or not. Right, let's go back to Ellen Road. I'm pretty sure we're there for Magic Weekend, Matt Newson.
Yeah, definitely got that one, a big tick in the box. Wigan 14, St Helens 0. I described this second half as chewing a bit of gum, which has lost its flavour. Your jaws are working overtime, but you're not really getting much out of it. And yeah, that's a little bit what Saints have done at the moment. They're working hard. They just cannot break Wigan down. Wigan have got a 14-point lead and are happy to sit on it. And they have had a try that was chalked off. Zach Eckersley it was deemed to have knocked the ball on as the ball went to ground. So yeah, no change to the score. Wigan in control, and they lead St Helens by 14 points to 0.
It is eliminated today in the 100. We already know that London Spirit have won at the Oval, so they will face Welsh Fire in the final of the women's 100. In the men's, Birmingham Phoenix against Southern Brave is going on as we speak. Melissa's story.
Well, it's been a cautious start for the Southern Brave. After losing the toss, they were put into bat. They're 29 off 31 balls. Alex Davies, the only wicket to fall so far, dismissed just the second ball of the innings. James Vince, the tournament's leading run scorer, is still out there on 12 not out to deploy on 16. But the ball is nipping around. It's moving to all parts. So it's certainly not easy out there. The score, 29 off 31 balls for the Brave.
Thank you, Melissa. Commentary right now on 5 Sports Extra. Quick reminder of the scores in the Premier League. We will squeeze in as much reaction to all of these as we can shortly. Ipswich 0, Liverpool 2, Arsenal 2, Wolves 0, Newcastle 1, Southampton 0, Everton 0, Brighton 3, and Nottingham Forest 1, Bournemouth 1. Right, we'll be back after the news on 5 Live with Nick Hatfield.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thank you, Steve. Good afternoon. London Fire Brigade says the fire at Somerset House is contained, but crews are still working on extinguishing the final pockets of flames. 120 firefighters have been tackling the fire at the historic former stately home, which is now an arts venue. The Somerset House Trust says no artworks are in the area which caught fire and there are no reported injuries. Hezbollah has fired more than 50 rockets into northern Israel after 10 people were killed in an Israeli airstrike on a building in southern Lebanon. Israel says it was targeting a Hezbollah weapons depot, but Lebanon says all those killed were Syrian refugees. The funeral has been held for the youngest of the 3 girls killed in the Southport knife attack. BB King, who was 6, died along with Elsie Stankham and Alice da Silva Aguirre. BB's family asked people to light a candle in her memory. And Nigel Farage has responded after it emerged he's the highest earning MP for work outside Parliament, getting almost £98,000 a month for presenting on GB News. The Reform UK leader says the sum includes VAT and is paid to his company, which has significant expenses.
Music Uncovered, the UK garage story, hosted by DJ Spoody and Jam Supernova. I want to tell you all a little story. From US House and the Sunday scene. Before the grime, it was UKG from the early 90s, nursery to the 30th year anniversary.
Join us as we rewind through the hits, pivotal figures and moments that took UK garage
and transformed into Britain's #1 party starting sound.
Doing it again. Put your dancing shoes on, down to the dance floor, let's get a move on. Music Uncovered, the UK garage story.
Listen now on BBC Sounds. This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Half-time, it's West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1 at the London Stadium. We'll be back there for second half commentary very shortly. Arsenal have got their season underway this afternoon with a win against Wolves. Kai Havertz put them in front. Bukayo Saka doubled their lead in the second half. Afterwards, Mikel Arteta spoke to Andy Gillies.
Mikel, you must be pleased to be off and running with a win.
Yes, first game, you need to get it out of the system. I think we had a really strong start, with really good first half. We should have scored many more goals. We didn't, and then credit to Wolves. They step up, they created some issues. We handled with them, and then with the goal of Bukayo, obviously, the game was much more in control.
I was going to ask you about the Wolves pressure, but first let's ask about your goal scorers. You must be delighted that both Havertz and Bukayo Saka are on the score sheet. How important a player is Saka for you? He's setting up a goal, scoring a goal.
Yeah, he had 2 goal contributions today again, assisting and scoring. The goal of Kai is a pure number 9 goal. You know, the way he attacks the ball, the aggression that he shows, timing, quality, top. Really happy with that.
Wolves did have their moments. You mentioned the second half, but in the first half, David Raya had to produce a magnificent save to the only thing he did, in fact, in that whole first half, just about.
Yes, absolutely. It's the only one that they had in the first half, but it was a big one. We don't defend the box well enough, and then David has to come and save, and it was an unbelievable save.
That's Mikel Arteta. Everton's final season at Goodison got off to a miserable start, beaten 3-0 by Brighton. They also had Ashley Young sent off. Here's the Everton boss, Sean Dyche, with Conor McNamara.
Sean, that's not the start you would have wanted to suffice to say. It seemed a decent enough start and then all fell away from you. How did you find it?
Yeah, mistakes change games. I thought the game plan was delivered really well in the first half. We broke wide, we played diags, we affected their back line, we broke them by pressing, got into so many good moments and then conceded a goal against the run of the game. A good breakaway, which they're capable of that. We know that from the way they play. And then second half, we can't legislate for the decisions made. You know, it's the referee's decision for me. They're saying his foot landed on the defender, but then the defender's foot is out of control. It drags his foot away. The Premier League, they get given every week. We don't get them, obviously, and we haven't done historically, but that for me is a penalty. Changes everything. Ghana makes a mistake with the ball and they capitalise on it, and 2-0 down, and then we get someone sent off, and that's a big ask from there on in.
I think that the penalty is a good talking point, particularly the time in the game it happened. If the defender's foot isn't underneath him, then presumably he keeps his balance and he could score.
Of course, apparently the official reason was that he put his foot on top of his foot, but the defender's out of control. He didn't deliberately put his foot on top of his foot. His foot's out of control. It drags Dominic's foot away, and then he goes over. I mean, look, these decisions that baffle me every week, to be honest.
08085 909 693. Lines are open for 606 Everton fans if you want to get in on that penalty decision or non-penalty decision. Perfect start, though, for the new Brighton boss, Fabian Ertzler, who at 31 years of age is 7 years younger than his record-breaking midfielder James Milner.
Yeah, it was pleasing. It was a tough place to come, especially first game of the season. We knew they'd be up for it. It'd be a tough atmosphere. You know, we didn't start the game too well. It took us a bit of time to get into our rhythm, but once we got into the game, took our chances. We deserved the win.
A few records for you today. Brighton's oldest player in the Premier League, and now you've got a new manager and you're so much older than him, and 23 Premier League seasons now, a new record. I mean, you're still looking as fit as ever, though.
Yeah, the boys around me keep me fit and just keep trying to push. But, I just want to keep contributing as much as I can. It's a fantastic team to be playing with. It's a great club to be at, exciting times. The new manager's coming with some great ideas and how he wants to play. He wants to play a high-intensity game and, there's so much potential around me. So, it's fantastic for me to be involved in that and it's nice to start the season with a clean sheet.
fans in droves coming back into their seats. Probably their pints was more enjoyable than the first half of football that they watched for West Ham, but certainly some of them have missed out on a classy bit of skill there.
What I can tell you is, Steve, that they'll never learn. They'll never learn that. They'll always do that. So they missed it, but they managed to get the last 1/4 of a pint of probably lukewarm lager. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1. Wigan leading St Helens by 14 points to 0. That's still the score at Elland Road in the Super League. And as is the case all the way through this season, once again, BBC Radio bringing you more Premier League commentaries than anywhere else. And you'll hear them all season long, and indeed across BBC Radio, whether it's local radio on the World Service, Radio Scotland, Radio Wales, and you will hear it all via BBC Sounds, BBC Ulster as well, of course. Tomorrow, though, in the Premier League, 2 commentaries: Brentford, Crystal Palace from 2, Chelsea, Manchester City from 4:30. 1-1 here as West Ham look to clear, but Rodgers receives it. Now here is Bailey, who's shrugged off whatever problem that he had. Bailey wins a throw-in off Kudus that will be taken by Cash. 5 minutes into the second half. Lines are open for 606 08 085 909 693. Talk about whatever you want. As I say, FA Cup weekend today. If you saw something remarkable in the FA Cup, do give them a call. 08 085 909 693. Here's Cash with the long throw then for Villa towards the penalty spot. That's headed away, comes out to Digne, who carefully gets it under control, but then the cross is blocked at source by Rodriguez, and it comes back towards the halfway line. Out to the right-hand side, to Bailey it comes, gets a nice touch on that with his right foot, now on his left, goes between 2 defenders. I think the ball had gone. There might have been a little touch from Emerson. He went down inside the penalty area, but I think he was looking for it, and referee Harrington wasn't having any of that. But Villa do get the ball back, although Rodriguez steps in, plays it up to the number 9, Mikel Antonio, 34 years old, does ever so well, finds the ball to the right-hand side. West Ham attacking down the right flank as Bowen keeps possession, gives it to Kudus. Kudus' ball into the near post, comes off a defender's head. I think it was Onana actually inside his own box, bounces back to the goalkeeper, and Martinez is able to hold on to the ball comfortably. So West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1, 5 Live from the BBC. And last we heard, Wigan did have that comfortable lead against St Helens. What's the latest, Matt Newsom?
Yeah, 6 to go in this derby. It's still Wigan 14 at St Helens, yet to put points on the board, but the frustration showing for Saints. They have been almost rubbed out by Wigan's ferocity in attack and in defence, and it's caused a little bit of a skirmish. Matty Lees and Kate Ellis going head to head. They shook hands eventually, but it's still Wigan 14, Saints 0.
Foul by McGinn, so a free kick to West Ham halfway inside their own half. Steve Sidwell.
Just going back on that attack there for West Ham, the ball was played up to Antonio, and that is what you associate with Mikel Antonio. Pinning the defender, keeping control of the ball, getting your team up the pitch, passing the ball out wide, and then creating space to get into the box. We didn't see that nowhere near enough in the first half. That's why I think we see Fulkrug warming up vigorously at half-time. I'm sure with the next 10-15 minutes we're going to see him and maybe Somerville make an appearance into this match.
Yeah, Niklas Fulkrug, the wholehearted centre-forward who was signed from Borussia Dortmund for around about £27 million. We saw what he's capable of for Germany. A couple of goals at the Euros, played in the Champions League final. Crucial miss actually in the Champions League final against Real Madrid. Ian Maatsen as well, who was involved in that. We might see him on for Aston Villa in the second half, having been signed from Chelsea when he was on loan at Dortmund last season. Here is West Ham in possession inside their own half, just played across from Kilman to Mavropanos, the former captain. Kurt Zuma is not involved today. It looked as though he was on his way to Saudi Arabia but failed the medical, so not involved today. One would suspect that he might be on his way.
Failed a medical to Saudi, you'd be
disappointed,
to say the least.
Your bank manager would be disappointed. And Naif Agued, the Moroccan international, also not involved today for West Ham. Here is Kudus. Kudus does well, chests it infield to Paquetá. Paquetá, whose ball led to the penalty, scored the penalty for the equaliser. Kudus beats Cash again. He's got round him into the box, but Cash recovers and goes to ground with his last effort. Actually blocks across behind, rolls for a corner.
Definitely been the brightest spark, Kudus. Great control. Again, Matty Cash just gets a bit too tight. He twists and turns, he gets away from him. But in saying that, Matty Cash does get back, defends really well. Corner for West Ham.
Just banged my knee on something under the... I can't believe there's not enough space in this stadium. 1-1, corner from the left-hand side. Bowen to take this, left-footed to the near post where it's headed away. Comes out for a volley, which is sort of prodded goalwards, really, by the debutant Rodriguez. On the volley, high over the top, goal kick.
It's disappointing there from Bowen. There was it, Jared Bowen, the set piece. How many times do you see it hit the front man, get it cleared? I said earlier that West Ham, the size they've got, you know, the presence, Antonio, Souček, Kilman, Mavropanos, there's good size, you know, there's good quality in the area. They need to get a good quality ball in, get first contact, get second contact, they could get goals there.
Goal kick that they're taking some time to take, not entirely sure why. Eventually Villa do take it, they take it short. Martinez plays it out towards the left-hand side. Pau Torres, then infield. They're in danger of losing it here, Villa, which they do. Souček through the middle into the penalty area, challenged by Pau Torres in the box. The West Ham man Souček goes down, referee waves it away. Rodgers carrying the ball downfield again dangerously for Villa, gives it to his right to Bailey, step over, Bailey back to Rodgers, tees it up, Tielemans with a shot, that's blocked, Rodgers on the stretch, and it's scrambled wide by the recovering Areola. It was all over the penalty area there, Areola, and in the end flung himself headlong towards his own post and just got a touch to push it wide.
Again, another fantastic break there from Aston Villa, from one box to the other. And again, it fell to Tielemans, again, probably on his weaker foot. He tried to get a good connection, a good purchase on it, but just didn't get the power and the pace.
I just imagined that. I manifested it, as they say, ending up in the back of the net from Tielemans there. But anyway, here's the corner. Bailey takes it to the back post. It's headed wide. Yeah, and the final touch was off Konza, I think. There were defenders in there, but Konza with the touch headed down and beyond the far post for a goal kick.
It was a strange one, that, from Konza. He felt like though he had the 1-2-3 stride and the leap, but the ball was just in front of him. But Bailey, just looking back at a replay from the previous chance, Bailey there worked his magic, a few step overs and teed Tielemans up. He tried to just be a little bit too cute and think about probably more about accuracy rather than the power, but when it fell down to Rodgers, just snatched at it. He's been certainly a bright spark for Aston Villa, the pace and the power that he's got when he drives with the ball.
But it was a chance for Konza. I would expect he'll be in Lee Carsley's first squad in a couple of weeks' time, if all is well. Excellent attitude from him at the Euros for England as well. Remember when he came in to start the match when Gay was suspended for the quarter-final against Switzerland and did very well. Here's Onana as the ball's cleared downfield by Emerson, and the referee brings it back. So let's get another update from Matt Newsom. What's happening in the Super League?
Yeah, this derby has been wrapped up by Wigan with 3 minutes to go. They've got the derby spoils in the bag. Rub some salt into Saints' wounds. A try from Sam Walters, emphatically finishing off a kick from Abbas Miski. Wigan have the spoils. It's Wigan 20, St Helens 0.
Warrington Leeds kicks off at 7:30 there at Elland Road, so you'll get updates on that during the course of 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. And what's happening in the 100 at the Oval, Henry Moran?
It's the eliminator match between the Southern Brave and the Birmingham Phoenix for the right to play the Oval Invincibles in tomorrow's final. And the Southern Brave, 81 from 66 deliveries, 2 wickets down. James Vince, tournament's leading run scorer, unbeaten on 36.
Thank you, Henry. So that's on Sports Extra and on BBC Television, and we will have coverage of the finals tomorrow. All of the top sport previewed. Weekend breakfast in the morning on 5 Live from 6. Colin Murray's programme as well from 10 o'clock. Colin always has some excellent interviews ahead of the Sunday afternoon sport, and then the first 5 Live Premier League Sunday of the season from 12, when Mark Albrighton will actually be alongside Steve Crossman and Ned Anua in the early stages. But the two Premier League commentaries, 5 Live, the place to hear them tomorrow. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1 with just over half an hour to go. And it's quite evenly poised now, Steve Sidwell.
It is, and we thought that West Ham might be the first ones to make some changes. It looks like it's going to be Aston Villa. They've slowly just took their foot off the ball a little bit, so this might just give them a little bit of impetus and bring them back into the game. Yeah,
and it's an interesting one, isn't it? It is the Colombian John Duran who is going to come on. In fact, it's going to be a double change because Jacob Ramsey, who missed a large part of last season through injury, but he's a real talent, we know that, and he's going to come on as well. So Unai Emery perhaps feeling that maybe Villa have lost a little bit of something. Rodgers, that's a nice ball through towards the edge of the penalty area for Watkins, who is well challenged, well followed by Mavropanos, and therefore West Ham got it away up towards Kudus, who holds off Rodgers and then gives it to Paqueta. And now Mavropanos, the former Arsenal man, had space in front of him, but actually play just slows, and he plays it across to Emerson, and the left back gets it back, and West Ham just knocking it around in the central third. Paqueta, we've not really seen too much of this sort of play. It's had a good intensity, but it's just dropped here as West Ham are playing keep ball in the central third. Here's Mavropanos again, just takes the ball out towards the right-hand side, but I think Villa are taking a breather as well, aren't they, out of possession. Comes back, square passing, Emerson, and then a forward ball to Kudus. Cash dived in, Kudus was able to get round him. Kudus now into the box, but the right foot shot is deflected wide as Konza came across, and actually in the end it went straight out of play off Kudus, so it is a goal kick, and now the double change. So Villa making the first changes. Unai Emery and Ollie Watkins is coming off. Well, there was that suggestion that they're going to give him proper time to recover from his exertions in being part of the squad, and he's off after an hour here. And the captain, John McGinn, also leaving the field. So an unexpected double change.
Yeah, we said that West Ham might be the likely ones, but obviously Unai Emery being proactive. You have to say that we've said about Antonio being a bit ineffective in the West Ham kit, but not really seen much of Ollie Watkins this afternoon. He's made some darting runs that haven't been picked up by his teammates, but other than that, he's not really got the ball into areas where he can really showcase his skills.
But this is an interesting one. The 20-year-old Colombian international, who also had a busy summer with Colombia at the Copa America, he's coming on, and you know, there was a time during the course of this summer when it looked as though Duran would be coming here to play for West Ham. He made it very clear, Duran, that he wanted the move. I think he was pictured doing the old hammers gesture, and the clubs couldn't agree a fee, and now he's playing for Villa here against West Ham.
Well, that is football summed up, isn't it? It's the strangest things happen, and now this is a showcase for him to show Lopetegui exactly what he can get if he puts on a performance and scores. But they do seem to just need something, a little spark, a little bit of goals, you know, something that's just going to pick them up in this game so far.
So West Ham 1, Aston Villa 1, into the last half hour now. So it is Unai Emery who makes the first change. Mentioned in the first half, 5 Spanish managers in the Premier League. A friend of mine, Kevin Quinn, rightly got in touch to put me right and said 5 Spanish, but in actual fact it's 4 Basque and 1 Catalan. I knew as soon as I said it that someone would say that. Here's Emerson carrying it forward. Kudus on the left-hand side. Kudus plays it back to Paqueta. Paqueta has got space here in front of him. Left-footed ball curls away out towards the right-hand side. Sofal is there. We might see Wan-Bissaka coming on for Sofal. But a good cross from him to the back post, but Antonio was underneath it. Defender was there as well, Cash, and he sort of headed it up and over from the angle.
Yeah, they've worked them attacks well, West Ham, in terms of being really patient, just waiting. Aston Villa are sitting off, but they've been really patient and waiting with the right time to pick and choose to get into the Aston Villa box. But there for Antonio, it was just a looping cross, just couldn't get the power to get down.
1-1 here at the London Stadium, 5 Live, BBC Sounds if you're on the move. And Wigan have beaten St Helens then, Matt Newsom.
Yeah, 20 points to nil, enough to take them to the top of the table, enough to really rub their biggest rival St Helens' nose in it. And as well, this is a patched up team. They had Jack Farman and Adam Kieran in the halves. Both of them had key parts to play in this particular win. 3 tries to none. Saints lose for the 5th time in their last 7 games. So it's not going well for them. Wigan, though, back on the winning trail and back at the top of Super League. They've beaten Saints by 20 points to nil.
Konsa fouled by Paqueta, so a free kick to Villa in their own right back position. Lines are open for 6:06. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton back in tandem. Robbie Savage now a fully blown football manager. 08085 909 693 to talk to him about that or any of today's action. Hashtag BBC 606, text 85058. Read all about today's action on the football pages of the BBC website. Highlights on Match of the Day tonight. Watch them anytime on iPlayer and the 5 Live Football Daily podcast every morning for free from BBC Sounds. You can pause, rewind the live radio via BBC Sounds as well. And all of our BBC football podcasts are there. Here is Bailey on the right-hand side. 1-1 the score, but Bailey has bungled over Rodriguez. And it's a free kick to West Ham in their left-back position. So Duran now through the middle, and Jacob Ramsey. I just wonder as well, I think with Lee Carsley in charge of the under-21s, if Jacob Ramsey makes a strong start to the season and gets back in the stride, I suspect those players who played for Lee Carsley might well get themselves into contention.
100%. You look at the likes of Manu, what he's produced this season. Who would have thought that he would have got in the England squad and been so effective in the England team as well once he got a chance.
Nicely played by Ramsey, out towards the left-hand side. Digne, Ramsey making ground through the middle. Ball low through, Duran shoots left-footed into the outside of the goal netting. I thought that was in. Left foot, a whip. He was onto it beautifully, but shot narrowly wide.
Well, when you're a West Ham player and you see your fullbacks getting high and wide, there is going to be spaces in behind, and Duran there exploits it beautifully. And you're there with a lovely sliding ball. Duran there, the keeper comes out in Areola. He chooses to try and side foot it into the near post. He could actually square it to Ramsey, who was in the box for a tap-in, but Duran there chooses to be selfish. And he should score there as well.
Yeah, he should. I've wondered whether it might have actually clipped the very outside of the post, but certainly into the side netting. But the two of them there, the two substitutes, Duran and Ramsey, look razor sharp.
Well, that's what you'll do when you're watching the game on the substitutes bench, and some players are just having an off day. You're watching them thinking, I can go on. How can I go on and impact the game? That's exactly what's happened there. Ollie Watkins didn't have the impact that he wanted that first half there. He made some runs, but Duran there made the run. Lucadine spotted it. Have the impact.
Still 1-1, but another big chance for Villa. And if you weren't listening in the first half, Villa took the early lead and then had a number of opportunities. Bailey hit a post when he was round the goalkeeper from the angle. Ollie Watkins was in. Rodgers had a chance saved. Really, Villa could have been comfortably ahead before the... is it fair to call it a contentious penalty?
Yeah,
led to the equaliser.
so.
I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. He's speaking to a few press around us, and I think there was a general feeling that it could have gone either way. I think with that decision. So
we will hear from the two managers, by the way. Unai Emery and Julian Lopetegui, all being well, you'll hear from them during 6:06, the live interviews, as Unai Emery has just dropped down onto one knee at the moment as he watches the action. He does do that sometimes, doesn't he? I don't know entirely why. But Duran plays it back now to Digne over on the left-hand side. Little ball into Ramsey. And again, Pau Torres to Digne. Digne's cross is blocked by a sliding defender. It was actually Jared Bowen, the captain, the new captain, who was in there, then cleared away out for a throw on the far side. Throw into Aston Villa. Pleased to say Unai Emery's now back on his feet again and on the move in his comfortable white-soled shoes that are favoured by so many football people. A throw in for Villa, level with the edge of the penalty area. Still no sign of a substitution for West Ham. In comes the throw, headed out to In fact, there are. They are now getting themselves ready, and we will see Fulkrug. Villa through the middle. Durand tried to bring it down, cleared away by West Ham, and then Souček in possession, middle of his own half. Long one forward for Antonio, but Martinez is well outside of his penalty area in anticipation and was able to clear it away. And then Pau Torres dispossessed Paqueta, and Villa have got it back inside their own half. So yes, Steve, Fulkrug is going to come on, and so is Crescencio Somerville. So Premier League debuts for both of them coming up shortly.
It's going to be a great reception, I'm sure. His home crowd are going to give them. Really been impressed with Somerville when I've watched him, and he's been at Leeds. A real live wire, can certainly make things happen. It certainly feels like this game just needs something like a player like him to come on and change it.
Yep. £25 million from Leeds United, big part of their run to the playoff semi-final last season. Crescencio Somerville, the new West Ham number 7, the Dutch under-21 international, and Nicholas Fulkrug, the full-blown German centre-forward. He's got centre-forward written right through him like a stick of rock. Here is Cash, now to the right-hand side, to Bailey. 1-1 the score. Bailey infield to Onana. Little touch from him, back to Cash again. Now Bailey once more. Bailey then back to Cash again. Didn't make the squad for the Euros, Cash. That was quite the talking point in Poland. Here is Tielemans. Tielemans over to Pau Torres. Torres now out to the left-hand side to Digne. West Ham having to play without the ball here as Villa are knocking it from right to left, and now back out towards the right-hand side. Cash again to Bailey. Bailey might have a chance to cross here. He does to the near post. Defender Kilman sticks his leg out, and that takes it behind for a corner to Villa from the right.
Yeah, it's one thing just moving the ball and trying to move the opposition side to side, but you've got to do it quickly. I think now there's a sign from Aston Villa that they're signalling that there could be an injury. Look at Dean maybe, looks like he's pointing to his back.
Yeah, and so and it's actually going to be a triple change for West Ham, and James Ward-Prowse is going to come on as a substitute. We've not really talked about that. I suppose it was mildly surprising that Ward-Prowse was only a substitute for the start of the Premier League season. But it's the Villa corner. Digne still on the field. In it comes, and the referee's blown his whistle because Antonio's ended up in a heap on the ground. So I think we're going to see this retaken. And are we now going to have the changes before the corner is taken? No, we're not. No, it's going to be the corner is going to be taken by Bailey, who just has to recover the ball from just off the grass, rolls it back onto the quadrant, and this left-footed delivery from him, which will be, I'm sure, swung into the 6-yard box again. Raised arm from Bailey, then there it goes. Goalkeeper comes, Areola gets a two-fisted punch on that, round about neck height, got good distance on it. West Ham could be on the break. Kudus does well, plays it through, but then Cash, a last gasp header really. If that ball had found a way through, there were two West Ham runners, but Cash threw himself headlong and was able to nod it away.
Do you know what, I could see that building up, and I thought if they get the rub of the green here and the bounce just goes to West Ham, the attacking prowess on the right hand side and the determination from them players was more in. Matty Cash done really, really well.
Well, the change has now been made by Julen Lopetegui, his first substitutions in the Premier League as the West Ham head coach. And Nicholas Fulkrug is the first man on, the 31-year-old German international. People are on their feet to welcome him, and he takes the place of Mikel Antonio. More news on the substitutions after we get back from Hampden and Gavin Wallace.
Rangers just have a goal disallowed. It's still Rangers 0, St Johnstone 0. Ian Dessers, who's just come on for Danilo at half-time, was through on goal, but I think there might have been a shot pull from the forward on the St Johnstone defender in the build-up. VAR is still checking, but at the moment, Rangers 0, St Johnstone 0.
Also coming off for West Ham, Jared Bowen, the captain, the new captain, and Lucas Paqueta. So Crescencio Somerville, James Ward-Prowse and Nicholas Fulkrug. And Villa are also going to make changes. We did wonder about Digne. I think it's going to be another double change for Villa in due course, but not quite yet. But anyway, we're going to see what Fulkrug, how he adapts. Yes, it is actually. They're going to make the change now. Digne coming off, and Ian Maatsen will be the straight swap for him. So Villa supporters, I'm sure, will be looking forward to seeing what he's capable of. He's certainly a talent, isn't he? Whether he's playing at left back or further forward, Maatsen.
Yeah, there's changes now. Really interested to see the West Ham ones. Look at last season and the quality and the depth in the squad, but now, when you can make changes of Bowen, Paquetá and Antonio off, and Fulkrug, James Ward-Prowse and Somerville on, that brings higher hopes for the West Ham fans.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the same applies to Villa in terms of what we can look forward to from these teams this season. With these squads that they have now, as long as they maintain a reasonable level of fitness, I think there are real grounds for optimism. The teams that finished 9th and 4th last season, and Jayden Philogene coming on for Leon Bailey. So looking forward to seeing what he's capable of. The number 19 back at Aston Villa, where he started his professional career after his season with Hull City. Play back underway. West Ham coming forward with the ball on the left-hand side with the newly arrived Crescencio Somerville. As I say, West Ham's new number 7 on the left flank with Emerson. Somerville, bright, sharp, little man into the penalty area. Back to Emerson again. They're at close quarters, these two. Bright orange boots from Somerville. Back it goes centrally. Mavropanos is going to try a shot from distance. Blocked on the edge of the area. Takes it out to Kudus, who's now on the right-hand side with Bowen having come off. In swings the ball and it comes off a Villa head. Pau Torres across the goal and behind for a corner to West Ham.
Well, the West Ham fans are really getting behind him now, and they know that they've got a man on this pitch that possesses quality on every single set piece in James Ward-Prowse. He can stick it on the button for anyone there to go and attack it.
Yes, they all know it. Villa have got everyone back. So James Ward-Prowse, with that neat side parting in his fair hair, right-footed corner towards the back post. That's just over Mavropanos, who leapt for it. It was headed away just behind him. Souček. Here's Kudus, now he's on that far side. He's up against Maatsen. That's going to be a good contest. And then he actually misses his kick and slices it away. And back to Hampden because Gavin Wallace.
That goal has been given, John. Rangers 1, St Johnstone 0. I'll try and be as brief as I can with this. The referee gave a foul in the build-up to it for a foul on Jack Sanders. You can see in the replay the VAR showed, he puts his hand up, he signals and he whistles. However, the VAR brings him over to the side of the park to try and look at the monitor. He does that and then gives the goal. So it's been overturned, absolute controversy. But Rangers 1, St Johnstone 0.
Thank you, Gavin. So 1-0 Rangers. As I say, Rangers' name will not be in that draw, but the Villa supporters are looking forward to. I'm sure it's written in their diaries, if indeed people still do write things in diaries. Steve, what about you? I do. Regular listeners won't be surprised to hear. But it is a week on Thursday, the draw for the newly expanded Champions League. Villa will be in pot 4. And you'll hear coverage on 5 Live that day, but with the way that it works out for those who haven't heard, play 8 matches in the league system, and you'll play 2 teams from each of the 4 pots. So that's what Villa have got to look forward to, and there'll be some great trips for the Villa supporters.
What a moment that is going to be for the Villa supporters. They have been on the periphery and of it for many, many years, and now they're finally there. They can dream of playing in the best competition in the world.
Big ambitions though in the Premier League this season as well, and here is Duran come on to replace Ollie Watkins. Duran trying to find a way through, but West Ham are able to win it back, and here's little Somerville again running the ball away towards the halfway line. He's got 2 Villa players with him, and actually he's dispossessed very well by Jayden Philogene, who scored 12 goals for Hull City last season. Philogene in his 1 season there, bought back by Aston Villa. Philogene number 19 now, as Villa go back towards the halfway line. There's real promise almost everywhere you look on the pitch here. There's a potential story and real talent, and here's Maatsen, he's one of them. Now it's angled back, Duran left foot, 2-1 Villa, and the man who thought he might be joining West Ham this summer has scored against them for Aston Villa. You wouldn't know it that his loyalties might have been divided. He's jumping for joy. He's mobbed by his teammates. He goes to the Villa fans who celebrate with him. It's funny how football works. West Ham 1, Aston Villa 2, John Duran.
John Duran there, instrumental in that goal. Not just about the finish, but even the build-up. About 10 passes before that, he drops deep, he gets the ball, he switches the play, and then he starts his run slowly into the box. And Aston Villa work it really well on that left-hand side with Maatsen and Ramsey. And then it's about the ball into the box and the quality of the finish. They take their time, they're calm, they're patient, but it's the timing and the detail of the pass on that left-hand side. 1-2 touch play, and it's down to Duran, and he just fizzes it. It looks like it may go through the legs of Areola as well. Yes, it does. It goes through the legs. How many times do we see that? But it's about keeping it low and power, and he's got that in abundance.
Beautiful play. 3 of the substitutes, as you said, Steve. Maatsen involved pushing forward from left back. I think Villa fans are going to enjoy watching that this season. Jacob Ramsey then receiving the ball inside the box and playing it across, and yes, went through Areola, but well struck from Duran. And it is West Ham 1, Aston Villa 2.
We've seen the two teams on show today in the last 10-15 minutes. When they're building up, it's been slow, it's been patient, and when they get into that final third, it's still been elementally slow. With there, it went into the final third, and then it was one touch, quick, crisp passing that dissects the team, and then it's all about the finish as well.
So John Duran, as West Ham come forward, but it bounces away from Fulkrug. And Martinez allows the ball to roll, and he picks it up. So Villa led early as Matty Cash has just sat down, so I think Martinez might well put the ball out of play. I think that's what the referee's suggesting, or actually he's going to walk over Tony Harrington and see how Matty Cash is.
He was holding his left hamstring there, he pulled his shorts up, he was just rubbing his left hamstring, so whether it's just a bit of tightness, cramp, or something a bit more serious, but I'm sure Aston Villa not going to want to take any more risk. But now it's about game management for Aston Villa. They were superb in the first half. They've not really been at the races in the second half. They've shown a bit of quality. They've got their noses in front again. Now have the quality, the character, the personality, the presence to see these last 10 minutes out. On the flip side, what have West Ham got to respond?
What have they got? They're 10 minutes away from a defeat in Julian Lopetegui's first match as the head coach. It's a very strange quirk that West Ham, when they've played their first home match of a Premier League season at home, they have lost the last 4. So I think that is just a quirk, but here they are losing again, and that is it for Cash. So a debutant, another debutant coming on for Villa, one of their summer signings. He was actually signed in January from Red Star Belgrade, then went back on loan. Kosta Nedeljkovic is onto the field. Kosta Nedeljkovic, just 18 years old, right back, Serbia under-19 international. He did play pre-season, but this is his competitive debut, the number 20, who's coming on as a straight swap for the injured Matty Cash. And it might well be, if Cash has got a hamstring injury, he might get a chance to have a run in the team.
Well, that's it. You know, one player, if they get injured, you're always waiting for a chance. You know, when you're on the bench, and you don't want to see it from your teammate, but it opens doors, and you don't really want to see it on the first, especially the first game of the season. But it can happen, but it gives them an opportunity.
Konza, of course, could move back across to right back. Diogo Carlos is on the bench. But Villa leading by 2-1, and now they're on the move again. It's Maatsen into the penalty area, Maatsen across, a crucial interception from Kilman, still in the area, hooked away though by West Ham, and I think the whistle has gone. The whistle has gone. Referee spotted some kind of infringement.
I think it's offside. I don't know whether. I think it must be from the original pass on the left-hand side. Yeah, just crept offside, which is so disappointing, because when you're on the winger, you have to look across the line and hold your run, time your run. Don't be too eager.
Another double change coming, Steve, for West Ham. So we're going to see another debutant, Jean-Claire Tobido, the French international who is on loan from Nice. He's going to come on, presumably into central defence, and as West Ham clear it away through Kilman. It's an excellent block from Kilman just now, but Again, Ramsey forward for Villa. Ramsey into the area. Left foot shot blocked by the defender Sofal that just loops up in the air and is caught by goalkeeper Areola. So he's going to come on, and Danny Ings as well. I did wonder whether he would still be here at West Ham for the start of this season, but he is at 32 years old. And Danny Ings, with West Ham chasing a goal to try and get a point out of this match, is going to come on.
Will it be a great outlet, Danny Ings? We know what he possesses, and his super strength is running behind, and he's got to be doing that for the remaining 10 minutes of this game. Try and stretch this Aston Villa team on the pitch.
Given away by Villa, but the referee brings it back for a foul on Tielemans just when Souček was looking to play it through. Right, now the next two changes for West Ham. Julian Lopetegui trying to make changes that will be as effective as Unai Emery's were, and off comes Sofal. Danny Ings onto the field, and also leaving the field for West Ham. Sofal leaving the field, and who's the other? So it's Rodriguez, isn't it? Rodriguez. Yes. So that's the end of his debut. What do you think, Guido Rodriguez, the Argentine? Steady?
Yeah, it's been a steady performance. You know, I think it's been hard for him in there at the start. He found himself isolated, and Aston Villa exploited the space in and around. I think he needed someone to be a bit more square with him and not him just sitting as a six, as the pivot. So, again, look, it's the first game of the season. Lopetegui will dissect this. The players that have come on off the bench, I'm sure, will be impacted into a starting 11 sooner rather than later.
So switch to three central defenders, or has Mavropanos gone across to right back? Yeah, I think he has, hasn't he? Mavropanos now at right back, so Todibo in the middle with Kilman. Villa in possession, but leading by 2-1. Villa now just a few minutes away from an opening win, but they've given the ball away. That was careless. And now Somerville into the penalty area, but having lost possession, Nedeljkovic then back across, and in comes the header, which is saved. Didn't have enough pace on it really in the middle from Fulkrug. The chance for the German to score in his debut. Somerville with the cross, but a leap and catch by Martinez to his left.
Well, his eyes must have absolutely lit up there, because he was just waiting for a quality cross. Somerville just takes his time, just finds half a yard. I think it might have took a slight deflection off of Conte that was just marking him, and it loops onto Fulkrug, and he just couldn't get the power. What was it, Danny Ings?
I think it was, yeah, Danny Ings.
Was it Danny Ings, yeah.
Just couldn't get the power. I think that maybe that deflection on the cross, that's it, just took the pace off it. Yeah, so Ings' header was caught by Martinez. 2-1 Villa lead, and then a foul conceded by West Ham. Duran winning the free kick in the West Ham left-back position, and they're not going to rush things here. In fact, I can guarantee that, because Duran's taken a boot off. So I think we've got time to hear the news from the Oval on the 100 from Melissa Story.
Southern Brave, they finished the first innings 126 for 8 off their 100 balls. That's 127 to chase for the Birmingham Phoenix for a place in the final tomorrow against the Oval Invincibles.
Yep, so we'll have coverage of that on 5 Live tomorrow, and Sports Extra with the commentary, BBC TV. Rangers are still winning narrowly against St Johnstone in the League Cup. Aston Villa are winning narrowly here against West Ham at the London Stadium. It's the Villa supporters you can hear. Tielemans waiting to take this free kick from out on the right. Two-man West Ham walk. Tielemans plays it in, headed away back to the Belgian midfielder, who allows it to bounce out of play. Just backs away off the field and allows it to bounce out to save a few more seconds as they look to tick the clock down. Nedeljkovic to take the throw for Villa. Throw into the near post. Duran nods it infield. West Ham headed away through Ward-Prowse, then volleyed forward, volleyed back by Pau Torres for Villa, and goalkeeper Areola comes and catches it near the edge of the penalty area. 2 minutes to go plus added time.
Yeah, Aston Villa going to try and slow this game down as much as possible, get the gamesmanship, see the ball out, keep the ball as far away from their goal as possible. But West Ham, on the other hand, they've got to be sharp now, getting the ball down. Danny Ings making runs in behind, trying to just create some kind of uncertainty.
Kudus, West Ham looking to him. It's played forward now on the right-hand side. Here's the cross, but it's over. Somerville hits the defender and then bounces back rather fortunately, I must say, to goalkeeper Martinez. And Philogene, who was looking to swipe it away, it hit him and bounced back to Martinez.
Big sigh of relief there from Philogene. Danny Ings made the dancing running behind, put a lovely ball in, just eluded everyone, especially Somerville at the back, but Aston Villa getting the rub of the green for sure.
He couldn't have done that if he tried, Philogene. He tried to swing it away, volley it away. It hit the back of his standing leg, thigh, and bounced back to his goalkeeper. West Ham come again. They've not given this up. Somerville, he's tripped by Philogene. That's going to be a free kick on the left-hand side. Looked sharp. Somerville for West Ham, free kick.
It's certainly a live wire, yeah. You know, you certainly feel like when he gets into his stride, he's certainly a player that can cause damage for this West Ham side.
And after that fluffed clearance, Philogene's now been booked for that challenge on Somerville. Free kick, Ward-Prowse to take it. We're in the 90th minute now. Aston Villa close to an opening win. Ward-Prowse waiting to take this. His famous delivery, right foot. In it goes, drops it beyond the defenders. It bounces down and is cleared away by Nedeljkovic towards the halfway line. Could easily have fallen to a West Ham player.
You literally hold your breath, don't you, with a side, because you know it's going to bounce down. It's going to be in an area where West Ham can take advantage.
Beautiful delivery. Lines are open for 6:06. Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. 7 minutes of added time. 08, 085, 909, 693. West Ham have got time to find an equaliser as Villa win a free kick. Philogene has fouled halfway inside his own half. I think on the balance of play, and certainly in terms of chances created, if there is to be a winner, I think Villa would be deserved winners.
Yeah, totally agree. I thought first half they were superb, just lacked that instinctive touch to really kill the game off in the first half. But second half they lost their way a bit, but they've shown character to get back in, and a well-worked goal, if it is to be a winner from Duran there, because they worked that superbly, took their time, and then made the killer passes at the right time as well.
Yeah, Onana on his debut, and John Duran, which is quite a story. The Colombian, who certainly showed no signs of not celebrating when he put the ball in the net. And we've got another stoppage here. West Ham wanted to take a throw in. We're already into these 7 minutes of added time. But there's a Villa man down near the edge of the West Ham penalty area, and while he is helped to his feet, Duran. Let's get another update from Hampden and Gavin Wallace.
Yep, still Rangers 1, St Johnstone 0, John, on the 77th minute now. St Johnstone a good chance. Sidibe was through. He was pushed out wide, but the shot was well saved and tipped over by Butland. Rangers 1, St Johnstone 0.
West Ham playing it forward from the back. This is Todibo who hits this, the loanee on his debut, out towards the far side. Ward-Prowse. Now Kudus. Ward-Prowse again is able to force it forward. In comes the ball from the right-hand side. Ings on the chase. It might reach Somerville, but the defender was there. Nedeljkovic did well there with the cover. Was able to force it behind. Corner to West Ham.
Corner to West Ham, and we know that man, Ward-Prowse, going over to take it. You thought there that Nedeljkovic just didn't see Somerville behind him, but that trailing leg scooped it out for a corner.
Yep, did well there, the teenager. Here's Ward-Prowse though. West Ham with the pressure, trying to force the equaliser. Ward-Prowse high and deep to the back post. Martinez comes, might have been pushed, certainly wanted to make it look that way. The referee hasn't whistled though, and even though he was sprawling, I think might have got a hand to it. It bounced down and was cleared away. Wasn't buying that, Tony Harrington from Martinez. As Villa with Duran, he's fortunate that the ball almost bounced to Rodgers, and actually it's been brought back by Tony Harrington for a foul on Duran when he was on the ground.
I think with the Martinez one there was contact. I think he come in and dived into the pack rather than someone going into the back of him. We'll see it on a replay. There was a cluster of bodies here. It was actually his own player that he's just nudged the back of, which just put him off, but got enough on it to get it away from danger.
Yeah, Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton waiting for your calls. 08, 085, 909, 693. At some point during the programme, you'll hear the interviews with Unai Emery and Julian Lopetegui after his first Premier League match as West Ham's head coach. Ball fired forward for Villa. If it is the winner, It was a very well worked winner from Unai Emery's substitutes, Maatsen and Ramsey, and then John Duran eventually burying it with his left foot from 12-13 yards out, something like that. And here is Rodgers. West Ham are able to block his progress. Philogene now, left foot, right foot, then back to Nedeljkovic. Emerson's able to play it away, and West Ham back in front of their own penalty area. In possession, it's got to go forward. Already had, we're in the 4th minute of added time now. And Areola, 7 minutes have been added on. Areola's ball out to Kudus, right away on the far side, but it bounces off his chest back to Aston Villa. Aston Villa, who next Saturday will be at home to Arsenal. Incidentally, that also a 5 Live commentary match. So that underlines the importance, really, for Villa to get underway with a victory, which they are now just really seconds away from. But West Ham with Somerville, and then Emerson. Rodgers is back in there for Villa. I think he might have been fouled, but in any case, he did find the pass to Ramsey. And now Tielemans back towards Pau Torres, shapes the ball forward to Maatsen. Maatsen moves infield. Maatsen's left-footed ball right across to Philogene, who pulls it across the box, and then a diving header away, clears it back out towards the right-hand side. And Villa go back towards the halfway line.
It's all Aston Villa at the moment, and it's just going to be really interesting to see the next couple of minutes how West Ham can just try and get something in this game.
Here's another one for Maatsen to chase, but this time coming across, Mavropanos is able just to beat him to the ball and play it forward. And we've got less than 2 minutes of added time now. We're in the 6th minute of added time here. Sun's disappeared, still a warm evening, and West Ham putting in what might be a final effort. Emerson over the halfway line, head down, gives it to Somerville. They've looked to Somerville regularly since he's come onto the field on the left wing. Now Danny Ings, but there's too much in that down the left wing. And in the end, Martinez is able to lift it to the halfway line. Ward-Prowse wins the header. That's taken down at the back by Konza. Volleyed forward from Konza. Duran on the chase for this. And he's up against Kilman, who comes out with the ball for West Ham. One more attack now for West Ham.
I'm going to be really intrigued when this final whistle goes, if this scoreline stays the same, how this West Ham fans react to this scoreline and how they played.
Ward-Prowse to the left-hand side. Somerville, he's got underneath that. However, it's reached Kudus at the back post. He's able to pull it down. Kudus now with the cross to the back post, headed across the goal line and then lifted over the top. Souček was in there, in the 6-yard area. They had defenders on the line. Ezri Konsa is being given slaps on the back and the back of his head for blocking that. And on the follow-up, Souček could only lift it over the top of the crossbar.
Oh, Kudus just stabs it up to the far post, and it's just there for Souček to just absolutely bury. He rises above, I think it's Torres there, and he's at an angle where he just tries to direct it at goal. It's going to go wide of the post, and he tries to get on the second ball, but Konsa there dives in front of Souček as well, and it goes high and wide over the bar.
That was the chance. That was the chance for the equaliser, and I think you have to certainly credit Ezri Konsa. He blocked it on the line, but I think it was then the way that he was able to react and get up and put pressure on Souček, who could only then lift it over the top of the bar. And I make it that the 7 minutes of added time are now up. I think that's the last chance gone. West Ham supporters, some of them are leaving the ground. We'll wait to hear what the reaction is. In fact, I can see empty seats now appearing all around the stadium. I think were David Moyes still in charge, I think I know what the reaction would be on the final whistle. But there it is, an opening day win on the first Saturday of the Premier League for Unai Emery and Aston Villa. Good win as well for them, and not too much of a reaction from the West Ham supporters here inside their home stadium. The first match in charge in the Premier League for Julen Lopetegui ends in defeat, but West Ham falling to defeat through John Duran's winner with just over 10 minutes to go, Steve Sidwell.
And you have to say they deserved it. Aston Villa on the whole, first half I thought they was outstanding, created chances, looked bright, looked lively, really sort of subdued West Ham to their new possession-based football, what we're going to be looking at got their noses in front with an early goal on his debut from Onana, and then second half they come off the boil but showed character, showed personality to score what was a cracking winning goal from Duran.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair reaction from the West Ham supporters. Many had already gone, had given it up. But I think, there were signs of promise there, and it is unquestionably early days, and he still has a blend to find, Julian Lopetegui, with the many signings that they've made.
Yeah, I think the changes that need to be made and what we're going to see from West Ham is going to be in the coming weeks, is when he gets time with these players on the training pitch, to get these patterns of play, to get these, the relationships between the midfield players and the strikers and the defenders. It's going to take time, but we see glimpses today, not enough, but glimpses.
Yeah, and we didn't see Wan-Bissaka come onto the field. Fulkrug, when he was on the pitch, I don't think he actually had a chance. So there is the potential for better times for West Ham. But for Aston Villa, that's just the start they wanted, with their players now going to their supporters in their section to the right. They've got that Champions League to look forward to, the Champions League draw a week on Thursday, and this really represents a roaring start for